Hi, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. This is a container of stitch markers. It's not even all my stitch markers, but stitch markers literally come in all shapes and sizes. How do you know which ones you're supposed to use? I thought I'd make this video and go through how I use my different stitch markers. Alright, so we've got a selection of different stitch markers here, and at first glance you're just like, well, what on earth am I even looking at? Why am I even stopping to think about it? So we're just going to split them up into a couple of different categories to start with. First of all, we've got the ones that are solid. Now our solid stitch markers, they come in a range of sizes, a range of shapes, because here we've got ones that are little cat ears. I do have some solid stitch markers that are also star-shaped or triangular. Not all of them are round, but these in this case are all round. Then the next set we've got are ones that I like to call twist-in markers. I've only got one in this little random pile, which is kind of silly. Then we've got ones that are lockable stitch markers. And then we've got, oh, let's just put these over here. So we've got solids, we've got the twist-ins, we've got our lockables, and then over here we've got this one here with sort of the lobster claw on the end. Sometimes, actually, let's just pull out this other one that came from a Hobie pack that you'll see I have not used. I'm not a big fan of this type of stitch marker. And then we've got these ones here. Now these ones here technically are lockable as well. They're sort of built on earrings more than anything else, or jewellery findings. So let's break these down further into what their functions are. So if we move these out of the way and just have a look at our round ones. Now our round ones are going to be less useful for crochet. Why are they less useful for crochet? Because if we're trying to mark a stitch and go through it, we're going to find that this stitch is now stuck permanently in our work. Because it's round, there's no way of getting it back out again. But where it's very handy to have these is when you're knitting. Because if we take our knitting needle and we take one of these stitches and slide it on, it's not coming off. It's going to travel nicely. Why are they different sizes? They're different sizes because knitting needles come in different sizes. The smaller ones I tend to use for when doing socks because it allows me to slide them onto a needle and just know exactly where they are. If the stitch marker is too big, it's going to start deforming your stitches. So round ones, great for knitting because they're not coming off. Fantastic for knitting socks. It doesn't matter if they're the ones that are the fancy ones or the ones that are just plain round circles. They're the greatest ones there. Our next ones, our spin-in markers. Now these here I find are less useful for knitting because if we take our knitting and we twist them on, it can still spin around. It can even do annoying things like spin around into the work. She says trying to force it to spin into the work. And then that's just really annoying. They can come off, and they do come off relatively easily. But where these are really good is if you're doing crochet, particularly if you're doing amigurumi and you're working in the round. But spiral crochet, these are fantastic because you can slip them in, carry on your work. When you get to the next row, rather than having to stop and unclip some of the others, you can just slip it out, do your next stitch and slip it back in. These I do have in other sizes. I've got wider ones and smaller ones. I think that might be my smallest size. I think I've got 3 or 4 sizes of these. These ones are really good, but the little ones don't work so well on your blanket yarns, so you want to have a range of sizes because you just want to be able to slip it into that stitch and have it hold. Our next type of stitch marker are technically these ones here, but I'll leave them till last. These ones are your decorative stitch markers. Some people are big fans, I am not. What I don't like about them is that they tend to have a lot of joins. Like if we have a look at the stitch marker here, what we'll see is we've got a jump ring in the middle that's got a little join. We've got this bendy mechanism here, which has got more joins. And if you're working with like this Noro yarn, the Noro yarn has got a lot of a lot of different fibres, quite a bit of a halo, and this can be stuck in. So if I use it as a stitch marker, which it's fine, but it's really easy to get caught on part of the stitch or get this part caught. And if you're going to be catching bits on your knitting and deforming it before you can get anywhere, it's just frustrating. They do tend to hold in, but where these are more useful than anything else are if you use them as progress markers. Now this one here has been used quite a bit. I picked it up from Knit August Nights, I think. If you like them, you can mark them on and just say, right, that's how much I've knit today. Or you're marking on just where you've got your increases so that you can see easily where they're coming from. If you're somebody like me who doesn't like the sound and the extra stimulus that comes from them dangling around, it's annoying. Often when you get these, they come in a really pretty set, and it might be that you've got one really fancy one and some that are just plain beads so that you can mark the start of your round and then repeats all the way through. I find these to be the most useless type of marker of all of them. They're the ones I use least often. Right. Then we've got our lockable markers. If we break our lockable markers into a couple of different categories, what we've got here is we've got the ones that are like the light bulb safety pins. So I'll put our light bulb safety pin markers in one pile, and then over on this side, we've got the stitch markers that everybody seems to pick up all the time, every time you do anything, and then some lockable ones over here. So these ones here, these light bulb markers are fantastic because they're very inexpensive. You will get them in a packet of several hundred. These ones here are Hobbii ones, these pink and purple ones. This yellow one, I think, has even come from a clothing tag, where the clothing tag gets pinned into the back of a piece of clothing when you buy it. You can pick them up very cheap. Now, these ones here, they can work on almost any size that you're working on. You can slide them into a single stitch of your crochet quite easily. You can use it to mark on your needle. It's still going to, this is a 6.5 millimeter needle, and it's still going to slide onto your 6.5 millimeter needle. It's probably going to go up to an 8 or a 9 millimeter needle for a very cost-effective price. But what do I not like about them? What I don't like about them is that they will come apart. They will fall on the floor. They are very difficult if you've got issues with dexterity and being able to move your hands. But I'll tell you what I do use them for. Because they come in massive, massive packs, I will just use them along the edge of something to mark an increase. When I'm doing my sleeves, I will mark my increases with these here, which allows me to easily count my rows. Now this even goes one step further. These ones here are ones that I picked up very cheaply, and I'm going to get my dad to make some more of these. Because when you're casting on, or if you've got multiples, it's quite nice to know exactly how many you've got. So these are just the same inexpensive marker. They're better than a safety pin because the safety pin has the spin at the bottom that the yarn gets caught in. But they're not the be-all and end-all. You do want a different type of marker, but they do lock. They are cheap. And in this case here, there's a function to them. By putting the little numbers on there, it means that you can mark out that's row 25 or stitch 25, row 50 or stitch 50, 75, 100, and now your counting is a lot easier. If you're working on something like a shawl, at the moment I'm still working on, for the last few years, a Stephen West basket weaver shawl, I'm up to about 300 stitches on that row. Doing the counts is very annoying, so having something that can count for me is very handy. Then we've got these ones. Oh, let's make you go away for a moment. These ones here are your basic stitch marker. You will notice there is a level of quality when we look at these. I think this pink one is from Stitch Pro or Knit Pro. This green one I think might be a Hobbii one. This green one here is definitely a discount one that's come in a pack. It's probably straight from Temu or something like that and then put in the pack. Then we've got this one here, which I think might be clover, maybe? I don't know. But it's a bigger one. And then we've got these ones here that are definitely Hobie, but they're more decorative. They were from a Valentine's category. Are these any good? Yes, they're fine, but mostly people get them because they're the same kind of stitch marker, but they're just heart shapes. We can make them go along. I'll go out of the way. What do we like about these? What we like about these is that they'll work well for knitting or they'll work well for crochet, particularly if you're trying to mark a stitch. They'll hold in there. They're not coming out. I say they're not coming out. If you get the cheap ones, yes, they are coming out. They're coming out very easily. And they will wear and tear over time. I know from my knitting and crochet class at school, they'll wear out at the bottom here, and this little part here will snap off very easily with just kids using it the way kids use things. Where I like these for is when you put your crochet down for the evening, or because you need to go to the bathroom, slide the stitch marker into the stitch that, you know, your working stitch. I wish I had some crochet here that I was actually working on. There it will travel quite nicely. It's probably not going to come off too much if it's in your project bag, but do get the good ones. Don't rely on the very cheap ones because the very cheap ones are going to break very, very quickly. So get the good ones, but they are very useful. They will work for knitting and crochet. The downside is that when they're closed, particularly for a knitting project, there is a maximum size that you can thread through. This is a 6.5mm needle, and while my actual work will fit these on quite nicely because of the cable, if I was to now change my needle to the 7 or to an 8, they're going to be too small. So that's when you need to have a bigger one. The clips are good, but again, I don't think they're the ones that you want to have for just everything. Much like these ones here, using them for working on socks is fine, but these don't come apart. If you're doing something that you need to be able to open and close your work frequently, they're quite good, but get the good ones. And just make sure that your needle, if you're using them for knitting, will go through the hole. Yeah, I have seen that people often like pinning their crochet, like their granny squares together to see how big something is or whether it's ready to make into a cardigan. I don't do that. I'm a little too old school. If I've got to sew something together, I sew something together. I don't tend to stitch marker it together first. Honestly, if I'm trying to stitch marker anything together, I don't. I use quilter's clips to hold my work together as I stitch it up, because I find that these will allow things to slip. These won't, but that's just me. Then our last sort of stitch markers are the ones that are locking. Now this one here is designed for sock knitting. You can tell because it's shaped like a sock. It's an Addi sock stitch marker. What it does is it will lock in space and it will hold in there quite firmly. It will hold more firmly than these ones here. The downside with these though is that they're really kind of cutesy more than anything else. These ones, being the Addi ones, are quite good because you paid a lot of money for them, but it is just a sock with a piece of plastic that's going to slip into the gap. Do you need to have this one? No. This is probably the most useless of all of the markers I've got here and the ones that I use least often. These ones here are the brand Boye, I think, B-O-Y-E. These are rubber. So if you've got something that's going to move a lot or you're going to be traveling a lot, the rubber ones are quite nice because they are going to keep holding even while they're under quite a bit of pressure. And when you do want them, they just pop straight out again. The downside is that they will pop out. The upside is that they will stay in most of the time. Don't rely on them. Don't put them as the marker on the end of your work, because I wouldn't trust them that far. But they will cope with quite a bit of movement without coming apart. Now, being rubber, they are going to grip a little bit better to a stitch or to your work than the plastic ones. But do you need to have these rubbery ones? No. I don't. So far, in all of my years of knitting, I haven't come across anything really where I've gone, oh, if only I had my rubbery squishy stitch markers. It tends to be that when I'm working with stitch markers, it all comes back down to the project. I will use the little ones that are round and circular when I'm knitting socks. I will use the twist in ones if I'm doing amigurumi or spiral crochet. I will use the light bulb ones if I need a lot of markers to mark out spaces or to count something off. And I will use these ones to mark the ends of my work. If you were going to go out right now and buy your first set of stitch markers, which ones would I recommend you buy? These ones. In fact, you probably don't even need to buy them. You can probably go straight into your your junk drawer and find some. If you're like me and you start accumulating these from your shopping tags and just popping them into a drawer, very handy. Or if you jump online, you'll be able to find a packet of these for a few dollars and you'll have hundreds of them. They will go up your vacuum cleaner because they do go up mine fairly frequently, so you will lose them. But you will have a lot of them very quickly. That would be my number one stitch marker to go and get at this point in time. That's universal. My second choice is going to be the plastic ones here. Don't go with the cheap ones. Just splash out and buy yourself a slightly better one. The Knit Pro ones, the Addi ones, these ones are going to last longer than the ones you get from Temu and AliExpress. These here are very cheap markers. I buy these from Daiso. Very handy if you're doing a lot of amigurumi, but if you're not doing amigurumi and spiral crochet, don't even bother, you don't need them. And unless you're knitting socks, you don't really need to go with these tiny circular ones. You will find that different packs that you get given, or once you start knitting, people will gift you a lot of these. If you're watching this video because you're looking for a gift for a knitter, 100% find a pack of these. If you can find a pack of numbered stitch markers, you will make a friend for life, because initially it feels like a bad idea, but it's such a lifesaver when you've got to do a lot of big counting. And if you just want to buy a little something for somebody to pop in a Christmas card or in a birthday card to make it a little bit more personal, and you know they're a knitter or a crocheter, you can go with a decorative marker or even a cheap pair of earrings and just whip them off the card and just put a little bit of washi tape and say stitch marker, and you've got a little gift that's ready to go for somebody that's going to go, oh, you were thinking of me and you know how I am. So if you're interested in trying any of these stitch markers, I probably won't link any down below because the chances are you're not in New Zealand and you're not going to be able to buy yours where I buy mine. But you'll be able to find the similar shape ones because we know they're all probably made in China. You'll find the similar shape ones everywhere you go, and you'll find the handmade ones at different markets. And if all else fails, it does appear that a lot of them are using earring findings. So the decorative markers you can easily replicate for yourself. In the meantime, hopefully this video was useful to you, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye.